Okay, so today's topic. Today's topic is entitled Survey Plans. As you remember, my notes are up here, okay? So I'm going to be glancing here once in a while, and Jessica's talking to us over here. So today's topic is survey plans, which you can and which you can use in a real estate transaction, and which to avoid. Now, when we started talking about this, we originally thought, well, let's do one that goes into the various types of survey plans and say, well, you can use this and you can't use this one, and you can use this one and you can't use this one, because there are so many different types of survey plans out there that surveys produce, but not all of them are useful and relevant in a real estate transaction. But then a question or a topic suggestion came in from one of you. I don't know if Stephen Mullen's with us today. Stephen Mullen, he's an appraiser for 40 years, knows real estate really, really well. And he came back and he gave us a topic suggestion or a question that we should focus on. And I read it and I thought, you know what, this is a great way to focus specifically what we're talking about today in the next 20 to 25 minutes. So we're going to split it today. Today, we're going to focus on answering this question. And this is it. You ready? Here we go. And by the way, thank you, Stephen, for sending this in. Fantastic. So Stephen said, time after time, lay property owners find their way to Service Ontario Land Registry counters, only to find out that specific property survey plans that show building outlines do not exist at the local registry office. Only reference plans that show site boundaries only. These people are sent to Service Ontario counters by municipal building officials, planners, and many realtors, and sometimes even MPAC mistakenly, but with the best of intentions. But these people leave disappointed nearly 100% of the time. So, how many of you have had this experience that somebody has told you or your client, go get a survey from Service Ontario, from the local registry office, and they come back with something that only shows lot lines, and it isn't really enough for you and what you're trying to do? There's a lot of frustration out there around that. So we're going to focus specifically when we're talking about what survey plans you can and cannot use. Today, what we're going to do is focus on answering this question. Why, when you go to the registry office, who supposedly has survey plans, why isn't there anything there? Or why is there so little there that shows buildings that I can actually use to do better boundary due diligence? So to shed light on this particular question, we're going to cover the following areas. We're going to do a little bit of background. What is this? What are survey plans, and what are the differences between the general main types of survey? And we're particularly going to focus on private plans and public plans. We'll get into that in a second. And then we're going to get right into how do you use them? How do you use this differentiator to create value for your clients on both sides of the deal? And then where you get them. We're going to show you where you go to get the various types of plans. That way, again, you're going to be able to advise your client, and you're going to be able to make better decisions and arm yourself. All of this, of course, is just a snippet of what's in the Boundary Wise Academy. My nice poster there in my home office, right? If you haven't checked out the Boundary Wise Academy, please do. It's a professional accreditation that you can get. We'll give you a discount code at the end of today. But in 8 to 10 short hours, put Netflix down for a little bit, get on this, get a professional designation, the CBW designation. So come out of this downtime and this isolation with a professional designation to improve your credentials. It's going to be a great market as soon as we get through this. So this helps you get ready. So let's take a step back now, and let's talk about why is understanding the difference between different kinds of survey plans and the types of information on them. Why is this so important to you in real estate? And please bear in mind that everything we do from your perspective. We understand the position you hold in the real estate transaction and the real estate ecosystem. So when we talk to you about title insurance or survey plans or boundary due diligence or legal descriptions, we're doing it from your perspective, not somebody else's perspective. And so from your perspective, what is so important is that a survey plan is probably the single most powerful document that you can acquire to attach to your deal or use in your deal that protects you and your client and your deal. That's why understanding surveys and knowing when to bring them into your deal and what kind of survey will suffice in different situations and how you use them, that's the value, that's the utility in this for you, which is why this topic is so important. So let's start off with understanding what a survey plan actually is. And I know we have a few surveyors on here. I know Sasha Kochmar is on here. So if I've got Vladimir and Sasha Kochmar, I know I'm going to be on the phone afterwards for about an hour with them, and they're going to be teaching me the nuances that I missed in this. So I'm ready, guys, okay? It's okay. But that's what makes me better, right? That's where I learn from. So please know that what I pass on to you, I learn from the experts out there. Okay, so what is a survey plan? 6 years ago, when I joined Protect Your Boundaries, I didn't even know what a survey plan was. I didn't learn how to read them. These folks have been able to teach me this, and I will pass that on to you. But for me, what really resonates in describing and understanding what a survey plan is, first and foremost, it's a legal document. Think of this like a written contract with all its various components to it. In another webinar, we'll go through those components and how you identify whether you can actually use a plan or not, but understand it and appreciate it as being a legal document. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it is a diagrammatic representation of land, boundaries, physical features, and structures. So it's a diagrammatic representation. So it's both a legal document, so it carries legal weight, but it's also a diagrammatic representation. In the olden days, before survey plans, we used to do meets and bounds descriptions, which were paragraphs, pages long sometimes, description in old medieval English of where to start and how to project that boundary line out. Now we use survey plans. So a diagrammatic representation of land, boundaries, features, and structures. Furthermore, though, what it is it represents the legal opinion, the opinion of the Ontario land surveyor who developed it, who produced it. Now, every survey plan in Ontario has to be produced by an Ontario land surveyor, an OLS. And Ontario land surveyors and land survey firms operate under the guise and under the coordination of the Association of Ontario Land Surveyors. It's a very strong organization, professional organization that maintains the standards and maintains the excellence that the surveyors in Ontario produce and have to, the rules that they have to adhere to. So it's an Ontario land surveyor, an OLS, who produces the survey plan, and it is their opinion. And this sometimes gets people a little caught out. Well, hang on a second. What do you mean it's their opinion? Does that mean two different surveyors can have two different opinions on where a boundary is? The answer is yes, they can. Technically, they discrepancies. Surveyors absolutely detest when there's a disagreement over where a boundary is between surveyors. And the reason it sometimes happens, and it isn't very often, but the reason it's those boundaries, that property's boundaries, like an Ancestry.com investigation going back through time, the heritage of these boundaries. And the further back that you can go as a surveyor, the more certainty that you have as you thread that history forward, that the opinion that you're creating today of where that boundary is accurate and can withstand the rigor of historical investigation. However, sometimes one surveyor will go through this direction to come to through research to come to their conclusion, but another surveyor might come this way, or a surveyor might have gone through their research and found the oldest plan and evidence that they're working on to be from 1940 or 1945. They have an incredibly high standard of research that they have to go through, and so it happens rarely. But that's why those discrepancies sometimes happen. Your best friend when it comes to boundaries is a survey firm, is a land survey. So make sure you have one of them on speed dial at all times. So let's talk about now the fact that not all survey plans, not all types of survey are the same, okay? I'm getting freezes intermittently. Anyone else? Same here. Yes, me too. Well, folks, I think everyone's on this today. So let's take a quick pause. Freezing a lot. I'm getting lots of freezes. Getting worse. Okay. Hopefully it's not my Rogers account. What I'll do is I'll slow down a little bit. We're 11 minutes in. So lots of freezing. Huh. Okay, well, we'll try it. I'll slow down. I don't know if that'll have a difference, but we'll slow down a little bit and we'll carry on, okay? So let's specifically speak about, and by the way, it's good now. Oh, it's because I slowed down, right? There you go. Not really. Okay, so let's talk about why certain types of survey plans are different. And what I want to try and do is root you in the understanding of the structure of the survey, the world of surveys. So the survey hierarchy, I want to explain this piece to you. Think of the umbrella term the umbrella term for surveys being land surveys. When we talk about land surveys, that's the term that encapsulates absolutely everything, pretty much everything that a surveyor, all the different types of plans that a surveyor would produce. Within that, there is one major, the highest level classification, two classes of land survey. There are public plans and there are private plans. And if you've got a pen and paper, that's something that's worth writing down, one on either side, two columns, public plans and private plans. That's the first major cleave, the differentiation I want you to remember. Now, public plans, let's start with those. Public plans are registered plans, reference plans, the M plans that you see, plans of subdivision, condo plans, those kind of things. Those are the plans that normally you'll find at the registry office. And those of you, I know I wish I could ask you all the questions and see hands go up, but those of you who've really studied these will know that these types of plans typically only have a certain amount of information on them. What do they show? Well, these types of plans show property boundaries, lot lines. They typically don't show buildings and structures and features. They're pretty much limited to just that. So that's public plans. Private plans, by contrast, are plans that also show the boundaries of properties, but they also show buildings, structures, features, fences, things like fences, pools, decks, driveways, everything else. Think of a private survey. And most commonly, those surveys are called Surveyors Real Property Reports, SRPRs, or Building Location Surveys, or just Plan of Survey. Typically, that's what they're called. Think of those types of plans as like a Polaroid picture, a photograph that was taken on a specific date of that property. And that it was a depiction on that particular day of not just the boundaries, but all the other physical features and structures on there. Those types of plans are information rich. And when it comes to boundary due diligence for you in real estate, these are the types of plans that are most valuable. Conversely, on the other side, when we're talking about private plans, those types of plans are not a Polaroid, but they're not a photograph at a moment in time. Their utility is very, very different. And this is exactly where I'm trying to take you to understand why there is such a distinct difference. It's in how they are used and why they exist. And if you get this, I know for me, when I got this, I went, oh, okay, I get it all. I understand this piece now. So the utility, the use of public plans, remember public plans are things like subdivision plans, registered reference plans, those kind of things that you get at the registry office. The utility of those is that they are the instrument by which people make requests and have those requests approved or denied to subdivide or combine parcels of land. Their utility is to change the fabric of land, to change boundaries. That's the utility of this, whether you're adding an easement or whether you're taking a 400-acre piece of land north of Toronto to develop a huge new subdivision, or whether you've just bought an older wide lot and you want to split it in half to create to build two different homes. The process that you will go through, or the professionals that you work with, you will go through with the city is to request. You're going to say, listen, we've got Lot 3 Concession 1 that we've purchased. It's 400 acres north of Toronto. It's currently called Lot 3 Concession 1. And we want to take this piece of land and we want to turn it into the next subdivision community. And we want to put 700 lots in here, roads, parks, schools, and all the rest of it. Well, you don't just ask and get given. You actually have to produce a document that says, here is exactly what, diagrammatically, exactly what Lot 3 concession looks like today. And we're going to superimpose on top of that what we want to do with it, how we want to cut it up into all the individual lots. So it becomes a proposal to the municipality to say, this is what we'd like to do with our land. And there's a negotiation back and forth between developer and land and municipality. And eventually the municipality says, yes, that entire 400 acres is now known by a different name, something like 65M12345. So the old name is gone, and the new name is now 65M12345, and that is the plan of subdivision number. Every lot now within that has been created has a lot number that's a subset of the subdivision plan. So lot 1 is lot 1 of 65M12345, lot 2, 65M12345, and so on. So remember, the utility of public plans is to establish permission from the municipality to break up, to subdivide, or combine parcels of land. That's the utility. And because it's this kind of use, the snapshot of what exists right now, it's afterwards. It's about having this ability to subdivide the land and change the surveyors to do for them for a completely different reason. Maybe it's to sell the house. Maybe it's because they want to do an addition or put a fence in or understand where certain features are. Maybe they've got an encroachment from the neighbor that they want to sort out. That is where a private plan is commissioned. A surveyor's real property report is commissioned, and that's an information-rich document that gives you a sense of exactly what does the land look like today and the features and structures relative to the boundaries. Hopefully that makes sense. We're freezing again. I'm sorry, there's not a lot I can do about it. So now let's carry on there. So we've talked about the utility of survey plans. We're going to talk about grading plans, topographic plans, and other types of survey that may be not useful in real estate in another seminar. Today, we're just going to talk about this piece. So let's now talk about how you use these and what is best or not best in your deal. As I scroll down here, there we go. So what's best in your deal? As with everything, it depends on whether you're on the listing side or whether you're on the buying side, right? Everything changes. You have to play both. When it comes to surveys and boundary due diligence, what you're doing is trying to ensure that your client's intended use of land is met. On the selling side, on the listing side, you're trying to make sure that your client can go through this deal and not allow for any trailing liabilities after the fact. It goes through clean, everything was disclosed, nothing's been left to chance, and there's nothing left for buyers in the future to come back on you or their title insurer to come back on you or your client on. Those are the basic distinctions there of the highest level utility of using survey plans and doing boundary due diligence. Now, when we talk about the buying side, when you get a survey plan, the reason why you're getting a survey plan on the buying side is to make sure that what is being represented in the listing and visually by the listing agent, that it is actually for sale. And the only way you can do that, just because you see the fence and you see all the beautiful landscaping that goes up to the fence, and it looks like the fence should be the boundary. And well, we know from our statistics that 99% of fences are not on the boundary. We'll deal with that in another seminar or in the Boundary Wise Academy. But understand that just by looking at it visually doesn't mean that it is where the boundaries are. Only a survey plan can tell you. If you get an existing survey, which do you think is better to help you understand where the boundaries are, where the buildings are relative to the boundaries, if there are any encroachments? Is the fence on or off the boundary? Is it the surveyor's real property report, the public plan, the private plan that shows you building structures and fences and all that? Or is it the private plan that shows you the plan of subdivision that just shows you the lot outline? Well, I don't know if we can do it. It's a little ghetto, I know, but here's a small piece of a public plan. And if I come real close here, you can probably see that all you've got, all you've really got is lot outlines and dimensions, right? Whereas if you're looking at a public plan, a private plan, forgive me, the surveyor's real property report, here's one done by Kurchma Surveys, you can see here how much amazing detail there is on this, right? And you're asking me right now, why on earth are you showing pieces of paper on this as opposed to just showing us slides? The answer is there's 500 of you on this webcast, and our Zoom license takes only 80 people. So we've been looking around as how we can do that, and with Google Live we can't. We haven't found a way yet of showing you slides. So apologies, a little ghetto, but it gets the information across. So on the buying side, back to you on the buying side. You want, you got it right here. That's right. You want a survey plan that shows the greatest amount of information on it. And typically what that is, that will be a surveyor's real property report, also known historically as a building location survey or a plan of survey. But you're looking for something with buildings on it. Now, if you ask for a survey and the listing agent gives you a plan of subdivision, what do you do with that? Well, we'll talk about where you can find those, but you are within your right to send it back and say, no, I want a surveyor's real property report, please, something that shows me more than this. And they might say, well, I don't have one. We'll show you what to do about that a little later on. But the important thing is, the more boundary due diligence you want to do for your client and with your client that you'll learn about how to do in the Boundary Wise Academy, the more information you need to be able to work with. And that information-rich document is the private plan, the surveyor's real property report. Conversely, on the listing side, it's a little different here. On the listing side, it's all about ensuring that your client is disclosing everything that needs to be disclosed, so that your eventual buyer cannot come back on you or the seller with trailing liabilities, with accusations. And there are 2 points in which that happens: pre-close and then post-close. Pre-close, as we talked about with easements last week, if you miss something that can be construed as material in your disclosure, then that can give the potential buyer the ability to either get out of the deal or negotiate a lower price prior to closing, if that's when this thing comes up, this information is discovered. Alternatively, the deal goes through, and then after the fact, the buyer discovers something that was missed by you in the listing that has to do with boundaries and so on, and now a series of events ensues from there that can often involve title insurance. And as we'll talk about in title insurance another time, miserable experiences for you, and you've got better things to do with your time: prospecting, lead generation, closing, and presenting and promoting homes. That you don't want that kind of headache from title insurance. So let's take a look at this one last thing. So on the listing side, if you can, the more you can disclose, our position always, and please go with your brokerage advice and direction, but our position is, look, it's going to sell. This is Ontario. We've got a great housing market right now, notwithstanding the current blip that we're going through. It's going to sell. So do your seller a favor and disclose as much as you possibly can. The survey plan, a surveyor's real property report, is so information rich that in providing that is now on you on the buying side to interpret it should you wish. But we've at least provided you with the documentation. So the chances are vastly reduced. The chances of you being able to have having a trading liability come back off something to do with what was disclosed on there. Now, a lot of you are going to start saying, yes, but what about title insurance? As soon as I provide the lawyer doesn't want doesn't want a survey plan because of title insurance. And they're telling us that title insurance covers everything. A single most important document that you can do that with. Now, what happens if you simply cannot find a surveyor's real property report? You've been to as on the listing side, you ask the owners, they don't have anything. You ask the neighbors, because sometimes the neighboring survey will show also the subject property, right? So you've been to the neighbors, they don't have anything. You've been to the other sources online, like Protect Your Boundaries, and we don't have anything on the property. What do? Well, in that case, provide the plan of subdivision, because at least on the plan of subdivision as a fallback, you're saying, look, I am representing the correct lot, and these are the lot dimensions. At very least, provide that. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so that's how you use those two types of documents. Hopefully that made some sense to you. Let's now finish up with, where do you go to find survey plans? Well, as you guys know, most of you know, we are Protect Your Boundaries. We're a registered land survey firm with the Association of Ontario Land Surveyors. We're a survey firm, and our parent company is Kurchmar Surveyors, one of the most respected and widely known land survey firms in the province. And what we've done over the last 5 years is we have curated and hosted the single largest database of survey plans out there. So if you need a survey plan for a property, don't go to the registry office. Don't waste your time. Come to us. Come to Protect Your Boundaries. Look up by address, and we'll show you what exists in the universe there for that particular property. Now, there's a caveat there. I should have said in the universe, because we don't have every single plan that exists. Some surveyors choose not to digitize and put their plans up. But start with us. There are some other places you can go. You can go to the registry office, but now at least you know that at the registry office, all you can get is a plan of subdivision or a reference plan. It's not going to be the most information-rich thing that you want. You can also go to GeoWarehouse. If you go to GeoWarehouse, again, mostly what you're going to get is reference plans and registered plans, public plans. So you're not going to get the selection of private plans. They have a few, but not too many. We're working with them right now to figure some stuff out. We're very close partners with them, and I appreciate them no end. And we are going to try and figure that out with them. The other part of this with Protect Your Boundaries is you can also get easement reports, buyer's reports, seller's reports. If you get a seller's report from us, it also includes the plan of subdivision. So that's a really nice package that we can brand for you and all those wonderful things. Head over to Protect Your Boundaries, check that out. So that's what it's all about. That's how we answer the question. So now, when we go back to Stephen Mullen's question at the very beginning, he said, here we go. He said, time after time, lay property owners find their way to Service Ontario Land Registry counters only to find that the specific property survey plans that show building outlines do not exist at the local registry office, only reference plans that show site boundaries only. These people are sent to Service Ontario counties by municipal building officials, planners, and many realtors. Not you guys anymore, right? And even by MPAC mistakenly with the best of intention, but these people leave disappointed nearly 100% of the time. So please add value to your client, whether you're on the buying side or the listing side. Explain this to them. Explain, give them your knowledge, explain what strategy you're going to take, how you're going to go about finding a survey plan and finding the right plan for that particular client. So that's, where are we? 11:31. Good, 30 minutes. If you'll indulge me for just a couple of minutes, I just want to talk to you about the Boundary Wise Academy. Those of you who haven't joined us, by the way, please, if you have any questions, start typing right now, and Jess is fire them over to me, and we're going to see what we can answer for you, okay? In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about the Boundary Wise Academy. We've been teaching realtors for the last 6 years, this kind of stuff, in-house, through webinar and so on. We've taught some 10,000 realtors. I think I've done over 1,000 of these kind of presentations in-house and so on. And what we decided to do is take all this learning and formalize it into the Boundary Wise Academy. And that's an online academy with video-based training and learning, about 10 hours of it, at the end of which, once you've taken the exams, you earn a brand new professional designation, the CBW designation, Certified Boundary Wise. We know with what AREA and RICO recently came down with, and the new rules from the government, how much more stringent they're going to be on you having credentials, how much credentials matter. And our new radio campaign, a radio ad campaign that you're going to hear is all about, hey, credentials matter. Pick a Boundary Wise agent. So please take a look at it. It's 8 to 10. It's video-based learning. You get to see more of me, unfortunately, but that's okay. Okay, you'll get through it. 8 to 10 hours, critical knowledge that you're not taught by RICO. That's the important thing here. As much as important as it is that you're transacting land at the end of the day, for some reason, your associations choose not to teach you this kind of stuff to the level of detail that we think you need. So we're there to do that. Critical. Once you get your designation, you then get a year's worth of free included hotline support with us. So you can be in a listing presentation on a Saturday afternoon. You can text us or email us. Somebody should get back to you. We should get back to you. I had a call from one of our realtor friends the other night at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, and we had that conversation on Sunday morning. We're there to help you. Our weekends are important to us too, but we're there for you. We're there to answer your questions as a backstop. So what this does for you, though, is it drives more leads. It allows you to close more listings. It helps you push on it. Let's see. Do we have questions? Jess, any questions coming through? Okay. I have seen some realtors relying on GeoWarehouse measurements. Advisable? Well, your best bet always, if you're looking for measurements, is the survey plan. That with a surveyor to give you an opinion if you want. But the survey plan is the most reliable place for measurements. Usually what we say is if you go to GeoWarehouse and you take the dimensions, sometimes those dimensions are incorrect because it's humans that transcribe from the plan. Always back it up with this, go with what the survey plan says. Listen, if you're Boundary Wise accredited, call us and we'll help you through it. Another situation that we had, which was interesting, I'm not sure if the question is, the warehouse screen shows the Google Earth image, the Google satellite image with the line work, the property boundaries over top of it. And what that showed was that half of the swimming pool and half of the house of the subject property was over the boundary. When you do that, please understand that the Google images are not placed accurately. Then they're just there to give you an approximation. And depending on the angle that those satellites took those photographs, they may be offset underneath that. So you can't rely on that. If you set them free, it's okay. Again, it's the survey plan that ties the boundary and the buildings together so you can really understand that. Okay, let's have a look. I missed the part about title insurance. If no survey is available, is title insurance sufficient for lawyers and financial institutions? Oh my goodness, that's a can of worms. We're going to save that for another time. It's a great question, but how survey plans are intertwined with title insurance and what the lawyer does is a completely different discussion. Look, if you've taken every effort you can to locate a survey plan on the listing side, to locate a survey plan, if you've come to protect your boundaries, if you've got a geo-warehouse, if you've asked the owner, if you've asked the next door neighbors, and you've really exhausted every possibility, you can say, listen, we don't have it, that's all we. And how does that differ from the cost of an existing plan? Well, today, if you're going to commission a brand new survey of a fairly standard residential lot, you're looking at paying somewhere between $2,500 and $3,500. It's somewhere in there. The majority of that, just so you know, from a cost standpoint, the majority of that goes towards research, because a surveyor has to buy historical plans at around $100 or $150 a pop, and sometimes surveyor, they know what they're doing in your area, and that's how you get that. That differs from the price of existing surveys. So our database is of existing survey plans that have been scanned and are made available. And some of them might be 2 years old, some of them are 100 years old, and you get to preview them and see them. Those range in price from $75 all the way up to around $350 to $400. But as a rule, if you budget $300 for an existing survey, a high resolution digital copy of a survey, that's what you're probably looking at. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so we're going to call it right now, because apparently we're freezing a lot more. We've got to figure this out. Guys, I hope this was useful for you. Visit us at boundarywise.ca. Next week, we're going to tell you we'll tell you in a few days what the next session is going to be. And there are a lot of questions still coming in. We will take those questions and we will answer every single one in a post video and send it out to everyone. So have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we're going to get through this, okay? We'll be back to normal business before you know it. Have a fantastic week, everyone. See you later.